Hi guys, this is Godfrey, your trusted mentor and the coach. So this week's tips I am looking at on how to investigate the engineering problem. And this is based on outcome number one. So I'm just going to give you some tips so that you understand what are the things that you need to focus on when you are focusing or talking or attempting to explain how the problem was investigated in your application form. All right. So there's few things that I want to share with you here as part of the tip. So one of the things, first of all, you conduct. Okay. So I'm going to take you. What is it that you conduct? Okay. So, so first you need to conduct site visit. Okay. Site visit, because when you investigate something, whether this the site could be site outside your office, or could be site if you are in a manufacturing plant, it could be into the floor. Go to the floor and investigate what the problem is. So you first conduct site visit. Okay. um During your site visit, there are things that you must do. Okay. So during your site visit, you'll be taking some photos, okay, of the problem that you're trying to investigate. Okay, take some photos. You'll be record some measurements. Okay, if that is something that you need to do to investigate. And then also you'll be looking at your conditions. Okay, your site conditions. Okay. So these are very important things that you need to consider when you try and explain how the investigation was carried out. Okay, so you need to site visit, take photos, record measurements, and then you look at site conditions, around where the problem is done. The second thing that you need to do, okay, is to interview. And interview, what do we mean here? Okay, on the interview, you can interview operators, okay, that are working in that environment. You can interview, you know, uh, site technicians and the supervisors. Okay. Why do you interview? Because it's important to collect information. Remember, investigation is all about collecting data. Okay, you should put a note in. Okay, investigation is about collecting data. Okay, so when you collect data, what you do, you go to site where the problem has been identified. You go and collect data. That's why I'm using an example where you collect data through taking photos. You record whatever measurement. Maybe you're measuring a equipment, or you're measuring a space, or to look where what are the conditions, or the things that are factors that are affecting the problem that you're trying to solve there. Okay. So you need to interview the operators, interview people that are working in that environment, even the supervisors, so that you can collect data about that specific problem. Okay. The third thing, it's where you gather information. Okay. Gather information. What kind of information do you gather here? You gather drawings. If there's drawings, you can ask the clients for previous drawings. You gather test reports. Okay, you gather test reports. So don't worry as I'm looking on the side, because I've made some notes there. And then also previous assessments. Okay, previous assessments. Now this is part of you collecting data. Okay, this is part of you investigating. So these are the pointers that you need to be considering when you are doing your site investigation over a particular problem. Okay. Now the fourth thing that you need to do is you need to arrange and interpret. You need to arrange and interpret the data. Okay. Arrange and interpret the data. This is very important And why you do this? Because you want to establish the root cause. Okay. You want to establish the root cause. So this is important because during your explanation of how the investigation has been carried out, it's important that this is the data you've collected. Now you need to go back and say, in terms of how do I confirm whether this is the root cause or not, you need to interpret that data. You need to look at what you have, discuss it with a senior engineer or senior technologist or whoever is involved in that project so that we can establish what are the root cause. Okay. Once we have established what the root cause of the problem, okay. So the last thing is now you need to document this is properly. You need to document, right, all your findings. So I'm gonna put it in red. You need to document findings, or we've made some recommendations. Some recommendations. Okay. So this is very possible. This is the process that you go through when you investigate a particular problem. Specifically for, remember, this is for outcome one on your Excel report. Okay. In the previous video, I spoke about how do you define the problem. So in this video, I'm just giving you the nuggets on how do you actually do the investigation. Okay. Conduct site visit, taking photos, recording measurement, looking at the site condition, you interview people, could be operators, could be technicians on site, or could be supervisors, even subcontractors. Okay. So you gather the information, could be drawing, test reports, and your previous assessments or inspection with regard to that problem. Okay, and you need to arrange and interpret the data so that you can establish what are the root cause. Okay, once we have done that, then you need to document the findings. Because I've seen a lot of reports, I've read over 1,000 reports since I was coaching people on Excel. People they write, define what's the problem, and immediately they explain the solution without going through this process of investigating. Okay, so that you can tell us what are the findings, because your findings will inform your solution. All right. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this is helping. I'm looking forward. If you're really interested to be assisted and get coaching with Excel, hit me on my LinkedIn profile, send me a message or drop me an email at mongwe@imekacoaching.co.za. Okay, mongwe@imekacoaching.co.za. Then let's see how we can best help you to actually achieve your Excel registration. Cheers.